The Large Hadron Collider and its high luminosity upgrade are crucial for constraining flavor-changing neutral currents, a type of process where the initial and final states have the same electric charge but differ in flavor configuration. In the Standard Model, these processes occur only at the loop level, making them a powerful probe for new physics models at high energy scales. The authors focus on FCNCs contributing to meson mixings, such as K0K0, B0D B0D, and B0s B0s, which are tightly constrained by data due to the small mass differences between these mesons. In the context of extra-gauge symmetries, the Z field interacts differently between fermion generations, and the product of the quark mixing matrices yields constraints on these processes. The study reveals that specific choices of quark mixing matrices can significantly weaken the lower bounds on the scale of new physics obtained from KK or BB mixing, while maintaining agreement with the CKM matrix. Moreover, the often overlooked D0 mixing is shown to play a valuable role in deriving robust FCNC limits. The results highlight the LHC and HL-LHC as promising probes for flavor-changing interactions mediated by a Z boson, challenging the notion that flavor physics can constrain very high energy scales beyond the reach of accelerators. Instead, the study demonstrates that, depending on the quark mixing matrix used, accelerators can be more constraining than flavor physics processes. In the Standard Model, SM, flavor-changing neutral currents, FCNC, play a crucial role in understanding quark mixing matrices. The SM introduces left-handed quarks as SU(2)L doublets and right-handed quarks as singlets, which participate in charged and neutral currents. These currents introduce flavor universality across all three generations through gauge interactions. However, flavor non-universality arises via the Yukawa-Lagrangian, leading to quark masses after spontaneous symmetry breaking. FCNC emerges at the loop level in the SM, making it a vital aspect of particle physics research. Extensions beyond the SM, particularly the 331 model, have been extensively studied in previous literature. This model introduces additional gauge bosons, including the Z boson, which mediates FCNC. The Large Hadron Collider, LHC, and High Luminosity LHC are promising colliders for discovering Z bosons, with potential masses ranging between 0.13 TeV. By choosing appropriate quark mixing matrices, FCNC bounds on the Z mass can be made accessible at the LHC and High Luminosity LHC within the framework of the 331 symmetry. The 331 model provides a framework for understanding FCNC processes, which deviate from the SM predictions. The authors aim to demonstrate the potential of the LHC and High Luminosity LHC in probing FCNC processes, emphasizing the importance of quark mixing matrices in accessing these bounds. This work highlights the significance of the 331 model in extending our understanding of FCNC and the potential for discovery at future colliders. The Yukawa-Lagrangian introduces flavor non-universality, leading to quark masses after spontaneous symmetry breaking. The FCNC processes mediated by the Z boson are sensitive to the quark mixing matrices, making them a crucial aspect of this study. By exploring the 331 model, the authors provide a framework for understanding FCNC processes and their potential discovery at the LHC and High Luminosity LHC. In the context of four meson systems, including B0-B0 mixing, K0-K0 mixing, and D0-D0 mixing, the dominant Box-Feynman diagrams contributing to flavor-changing processes are presented. These diagrams, illustrated in Figure 2, are crucial in understanding the underlying mechanisms of flavor-changing neutral currents, FCNC. The authors introduce the concept of generation indices, AC, and 3x3 matrices, mu, d, which can be diagonalized to derive quark masses and mass eigenstates using a biunitary transformation. This transformation involves rotating the quark fields using the rotation matrices VU, L, VU, R, Vd, L, and Vd, R to obtain the mass eigenstates. The charged current is subsequently derived, and by applying the rotation matrices, the Kabibo-Kobayashi-Maskawa (CKM) matrix is obtained. The CKM matrix plays a vital role in governing FCNC, and its unitarity property ensures the conservation of total probability for transitions between different quark flavors in weak interactions. The authors emphasize that any FCNC study must respect the unitarity relation of the CKM matrix. Flavor-changing interactions arise in processes mediated by the W boson but are absent in the standard model at the tree level. The authors revisit the Z boson interaction with left-handed quarks, applying the transformation defined in EQ 7 to obtain the Z interaction with mass eigenstate quarks. This highlights the absence of FCNCs in the standard model and underscores the importance of considering the CKM matrix in any FCNC study. The CKM matrix is parameterized, and its entries are measured, providing a crucial tool for understanding the underlying mechanisms of FCNC. The author's emphasis on the unitarity property of the CKM matrix serves as a reminder that any realistic model of FCNC must respect this fundamental requirement. This section of the research paper explores the concept of flavor-changing neutral currents, FCNCs, within the context of the standard model, SM, and its extension through an effective field theory approach. In the SM, FCNCs are absent at the tree level due to the unitarity of the flavor rotation matrix, but they emerge at one-loop level via diagrams such as those shown in Fig. 2. The paper then discusses the use of an effective field theory to analyze FCNCs, specifically focusing on meson oscillations involving K, D, BD, and B's mesons. The authors introduce an effective Lagrangian for the interaction between quarks and a new Z boson, which interacts differently with the first two generations and the third generation of quarks. This leads to FCNCs when rotated to the mass eigenstate basis. The effective Lagrangians for K0 K0, D0 D0, B0 D B0 D, and B0s B0s mixings are derived, resulting in equations 18 for the mass differences of these meson systems. These equations involve the bag parameters Bk, Bd, barbecue, decay constants Fk, Fd, Fbq, and eta k, eta d, eta bq, which are listed in Table I. The paper concludes this section by emphasizing the importance of the free parameter gamma, which has energy dimension, and its role in constraining new physics effects in the context of 331 models. This highlights the significance of FCNCs as a probe for physics beyond the SM, particularly in the context of flavor physics. The 331 model, an enlarged gauge sector based on the SU, 3, C times SU, 3, L times U, 1, N symmetry, is employed to analyze FCNC bounds. This model has been extensively studied in various areas, including dark matter, muon anomalous magnetic moment, neutrino masses, and collider physics. In the 331 model, each fermion generation consists of a left-handed doublet containing a neutrino, an electron, and a right-handed charged lepton, while the quark sector comprises a left-handed triplet and 3 right-handed singlets per generation. A comprehensive analysis of FCNC bounds necessitates considering all 4 meson systems: K0 K0, D0 D0, B0 D B0 D, and B0s B0s. The authors demonstrate that a weak bound in one meson system does not imply the absence of strong FCNC bounds in the model. Instead, different parametrizations of the quark mixing matrices significantly impact the derived bounds. Some mixings yield weaker constraints for specific mesons, while others produce stronger limits for different meson mixings. The authors emphasize the importance of considering these variations in quark mixing matrices to accurately derive FCNC bounds. They illustrate how different mixings can lead to distinct bounds for different meson systems, underscoring the need for a comprehensive analysis of all 4 meson systems. This approach enables a more accurate assessment of the model's viability in the context of FCNC bounds. The findings are then applied to a concrete Z model, featuring a neutral current identical to the simplified model discussed earlier. This application serves as a bridge between the theoretical framework established earlier and its practical implementation in a well-defined theoretical model. The paper delves into the implications of the 331 model on flavor-changing neutral current, FCNC, processes in 4 distinct meson systems, specifically K0, B0D, B0s, and D0. It emphasizes that these processes can be utilized to derive lower mass bounds for the Z-gauge boson, a pivotal component of the 331 model. The paper also juxtaposes these bounds with those obtained from Large Hadron Collider (LHC) data and projected high luminosity LHC, HL-LHC data. The effective Lagrangians pertinent to the meson mixings in the context of the 331 model are provided in equations 22 and 23, where k equals 1, 2 signify the generation indices, and Cw and Sw denote the cosine and sine of the Weinberg angle, respectively. These Lagrangians describe the interactions between the Z-gauge boson and quarks, leading to FCNCs in the meson systems under scrutiny. The paper then presents 5 different quark mixing matrices, labeled as mixing 1 through 5, and uses them to derive lower bounds on the mass of the Z-gauge boson. These bounds are summarized in Table 3 and visualized in Figs. 4-7. By comparing these bounds with collider data, the paper concludes that if the quark mixing matrix is set to mixing 3, the lower mass bounds from FCNCs are subdominant compared to collider data. However, for mixings 1, 2, 4, and 5, each meson system yields stringent bounds on the Z mass, contradicting the common assertion that FCNCs probe energy scales beyond high-energy colliders. In summary, this paper explores the implications of the 331 model on FCNC processes in various meson systems, providing a comprehensive analysis of the effective Lagrangians, quark mixing matrices, and their impact on the Z-gauge boson mass bounds. The findings are presented in both tabular and graphical formats, allowing for a clear comparison with collider data and emphasizing the potential of FCNCs to probe energy scales beyond those accessible by high-energy colliders. The analysis presented in this research paper investigates the impact of new physics processes on meson mixings, specifically B0D right-pointing arrow B0D, B0s right-pointing arrow B0s, K0 right-pointing arrow K0, and D0 right-pointing arrow D0, within the SU, 3, C circled times SU, 2, L circled times U, 1, N gauge group. Utilizing effective operators and AZ model, the study examines the influence of different entries in quark mixing matrices on the results. The findings reveal that these mixings can significantly affect the size of new physics contributions to meson mixing and the lower bounds on the new physics energy scale or the Z boson mass. The analysis demonstrates that the lower bounds on the Z mass or the new physics energy scale can be substantially enhanced when considering the effects of these mixings. This is illustrated through various figures, including Figure 4, which shows the Z contribution to the increment Mk Z as a function of its mass for 5 different mixings of the VDL matrix. Similarly, figures 5, 6, and 7 depict the Z contributions to increment Md Z, increment Mbs Z, and increment Mbd Z, respectively, for the same mixings. The study highlights the importance of future colliders, such as the HL-LHC, to further investigate and strengthen the constraints on new physics processes. Notably, the findings suggest that flavor-changing neutral currents, FCNCs, do not necessarily lead to constraints stronger than those provided by colliders, emphasizing the need for continued exploration in this area. The analysis underscores the role of quark mixing matrices in shaping the impact of new physics processes on meson mixings and the potential for future colliders to enhance our understanding of these phenomena. The results have significant implications for the development of new physics models and the interpretation of experimental data. The study assumes a specific framework for new physics, namely the Z model, and focuses on the effects of quark mixing matrices. Future work may involve exploring alternative models and extending the analysis to include additional effects. In the 331 model, a variation of the standard model, the Z mass bound is evaluated through 5 distinct choices of mixing matrices VD and VU. These matrices play a crucial role in determining the Z contribution to the mass difference of various meson systems and flavor-changing neutral current (FCNC) processes. The selected mixings, ranging from strongest to weakest, are designed to provide both the most significant and least impactful 331 contributions to FCNC processes while maintaining the Kabibo-Kobayashi-Maskawa (CKM) matrix in agreement with experimental data. Mixing 1 and 2 yield significant impacts on the Z mass bound, whereas mixing 3 presents weaker mass bounds compared to previous literature, highlighting the potential for the Large Hadron Collider (LHC) and High Luminosity LHC (HL-LHC) to probe Z masses larger than those excluded through FCNC studies. Mixings 4 and 5 demonstrate distinct contributions to the Z mass bound, showcasing the range of possible bounds within the 331 model. The authors emphasize the importance of experimental constraints from FCNC processes in determining these bounds, underscoring the need for continued research in this area. I'm ready to refine the transcript. However, I don't see the original content to refine. Please provide the text, and I'll transform it into a direct, concise, and technically accurate summary suitable for voiceover narration, following the guidelines you provided. Please provide the content to refine, and I will transform it into a concise, technically accurate summary suitable for voiceover narration, following the guidelines you provided. Unfortunately, you haven't provided the content to refine. Please paste the original transcript, and I'll be happy to assist you in transforming it into a concise, technically accurate summary suitable for voiceover narration, following the guidelines you provided.